Coming up on Mountain News this morning, the Lieutenant Governor, teachers, students, and more are protesting the plans to dismantle the Department of Education. And Governor Andy Beshear gave an update on how FEMA assistance is helping Kentuckians after last month's flood.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning and a happy first day of spring to you, Mountain family. I'm Amelia Lee, here with you on this Thursday, March 20th, and the time is 5:30, which means it is time to check on in with our spring expert, meteorologist Megan Dosmal, for a look at that forecast. And Megan, thankfully we're in spring, but I know that our temperatures and whatever's going on outside is not reflecting that right now.
No, it's not. I mean, yesterday would be a better, example of spring. We had 70s, mostly cloudy skies. It wasn't too bad, but today is not only a chillier day as temperatures drop, but also a rainy one. Here's a look at our live pinpoint Doppler radar. We're seeing some of the heaviest rain right now following on southern portions of Perry County, Leslie County, Clay County, and southern portions of Jackson County. We'll continue to watch this move through the next couple of hours, but expect some rain or precipitation as a chance for wintry mixes in the forecast throughout all day long. Here's a look at those current temperatures and savor them in because it's only going to get colder from here. We're looking at 50s and 60s as you're traveling towards Clintwood, 61 and 64 in Logan, but those temperatures are definitely on the drop as we're going throughout the next 12 hours. And here's a better look at it. Yep, warmest weather is right now, and by the time we head to about 4 o'clock, when you'd normally expect the warmest temperatures of the day, we'll be looking in the 40s. What feels like temperatures a little bit chillier as the wind is picking up this afternoon. Amelia.
Thank you, Megan. Well, yesterday there was a drug bust in the Allen community. The Floyd County Sheriff's Office matched a vehicle to a drug-related complaint they received earlier in the day. After stopping the vehicle, deputies deployed Canine Zoe, who found 40 grams of crystal meth. Officials charged Kevil Quellen for first-degree trafficking of a controlled substance. A Salyersville man is facing charges after police found drugs with him. It happened last week when police got a tip about Matthew Owens heading somewhere to sell meth. After they pulled over the vehicle they were looking for, Owens was told to get out. Police say they discovered more than 97 grams of a substance believed to be meth, in addition to nearly 2 grams believed to be fentanyl. Owens was taken to the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center. We have new details about a deadly fire that happened at a restaurant in Claiborne County, Tennessee. Officials with the sheriff's office say the name of the person who was killed in the fire was 35-year-old Claudio Lunas Matias. The fire happened a few weeks ago at the Bronco Mexican restaurant in Harrogate. The TBI is still investigating what started that fire. A disagreement between neighbors turned violent at a home in Berea yesterday. It initially started as a peaceful exchange, but later went south. The victim told police that her neighbor came over with a vase of fake flowers. After the victim told police that Victoria Blackman could not have items that Blackman claimed were owned by her mother. Police say the victim told them she was hit in the face several times.
Based off the citation, said that the victim had a black eye, and bruising to her face, and a bloody nose. The roommate answered the door and said that Miss Blakeman was talking out of her head all day.
The victim was not taken to the hospital but was going to seek medical care on her own. Blakeman remains in jail on burglary and assault charges. There was a walkout yesterday at Berea Community Schools after leaders announced significant cuts earlier this week. School leaders say the cuts come after a nearly $1.3 million deficit that was projected. Hundreds of Berea students wanted to make sure their voices were heard on this matter. They walked out of Berea Community's front doors during the school day in protest. Some staff members joined the protest, including some who were personally impacted by those cuts on Monday. Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman is voicing concerns over the negative impacts cuts to the U.S. Department of Education could have. Last week, thousands of department employees were laid off, but Coleman says Title I schools, special education students, and low-income students seeking higher education would be the most affected by any federal cuts. Some Kentucky teachers, students, and parents protested their concerns over the proposed dismantling of the Department of Education. The Trump administration says it's trying to return the power to the states, with the cuts, but it's important to note the department does not decide what's taught in schools. That's determined at a state and local level. The Department of Education does provide financial assistance and federal grants, which make up $1 in $5 for Kentucky education, according to the Kentucky Center for Economic Policy.
The federal government, through the Department of Education, guarantees that she gets that funding and that she's able to have those resources. I don't need her to struggle more. I need her to have the help she needs.
Most funding is divided into paying teacher salaries, special education, and school lunches. Folks also protested in Lexington outside of an event where 6th District Congressman Andy Barr spoke yesterday. Protesters there say they want more direct communication with Barr regarding his alignment on some of President Donald Trump's policies. Barr says he feels a large responsibility as congressman to listen to people's concerns when they don't agree with him. He says he's planning to conduct a telephone town hall on Monday. Governor Andy Beshear hosted a Team Kentucky briefing yesterday. During his update in Frankfort, the governor says several counties in eastern Kentucky were approved for disaster loans. We have the full list of those on our website, WYMT.com. He also says the process filing applications for FEMA individual assistance is going much smoother this time around, and that's compared to the July 2022 flood.
As of March 17th, FEMA has approved more than $22 million in housing and other types of assistance to more than 3,800 Kentucky households. More applications are being processed daily, and it's going a lot smoother, the FEMA individual assistance, than it did in 2022.
Also during his update, Governor Beshear congratulated all of the basketball teams from the state that made the NCAA tournament, recognizing them as Team Kentucky All-Stars. Governor Andy Beshear says he's vetoing a House bill that would allow Kentucky Department of Agriculture employees to apply for and receive grants and loans from the Department of Agriculture. In yesterday's Team Kentucky briefing, he said House Bill 216 would allow the practice, which has been prohibited under state law and ethics opinions.
So this isn't, to me, about that department at all. It's about no one should be able to work in an agency and then apply directly to that agency for a loan or a grant from it.
It's also anticipated the governor will veto several other bills. Those include House Bill 495, which would overturn Beshear's 2024 executive order banning conversion therapy in Kentucky, and Senate Bill 89, which would loosen restrictions for waterway pollution. The Department of Vehicle Registration is hosting a pop-up driver's licensing event. It's happening at Hazard Community and Technical College through Saturday, with operating hours from 9 until 6. The event is walk-in only. They'll offer license renewal and personal ID upgrades if you have the proper documentation. Cash is not accepted at the pop-up, but they will be able to take cards, money orders, or personal checks.
And they are helping people who may have lost their driver's licensing with the flood. So anyone who lost their licenses with the flood, they are assisting them in getting those licenses back.
They will also have vision screening tests for folks to take. You can go online to drive.ky.gov to see what documents you need to bring with you. An Eastern Kentucky police chief is set to retire on April 1st. Greg Fugit served as police chief of the Louisa Police Department since 2011. He was hired as a patrolman in 2002. According to a post on the department's Facebook page, Fugit began his career in public service at the age of 15, volunteering as a firefighter with the Louisville Fire Department. Sergeant Stephen Wilburn has been appointed interim chief. An event 17 years in the making will occur in central and eastern Kentucky later this spring. Billions of cicadas lying in the ground since 2008 will emerge and create quite the noisy setting. The group of cicadas is called Brood 14. Jonathan Larson of UK Entomology says you can expect these noisy creatures to emerge from the ground around late April to early May.
They're not going to attack crops or garden crops or anything like that. Mainly what we see is that they will lay their eggs in the twigs of branches of trees. When they do that, the female cuts a slit in the branch, and as she does that, it can create flagging. The branch may sort of sag in the tree.
This activity will last for about 6 to 8 weeks. The cicadas will then die off. The new cicadas will hatch later in the summer and then head into the ground until they reemerge 17 years from now. Friends helping friends. That's what Old Friends Farm is doing for their neighbors to the east. The Thoroughbred Retirement Farm in Georgetown auctioned off halters worn by Kentucky Derby winners Silver Charm and Giacomo. They raised more than $4,000 for the East Kentucky Dream Center. It's a group providing emergency flood relief for people in Pike County. Still to come, a popular petition wants to see Nashville's airport renamed after this iconic singer.
And windy conditions continue today. I'll have more up next.